Hello, Haiti Oropesa for Florida U Judge, and today I have with me as a guest Dustin Anderson. He's a judicial candidate and he is running for Group 4 for the 6th Circuit, which includes Pinellas and Pasco counties, and I'm so happy that he's here to inform viewers, voters about his candidacy. Good morning, Dustin. How are you?
Good morning, Haiti. I'm doing well. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Yes, absolutely, and thank you so much for coming in. Dustin, why do you want to be a judge?
Well, I've spent the great majority of my career in public service. I grew up in this community. I moved down to Palm Harbor when I was 10 years old. I love the community, and I'd like to serve it in a capacity I feel I'm well suited for as a circuit court judge. I love the law. I was blessed from a young age watching Perry Mason and shows like that. I knew I wanted to be in the courtroom, and throughout my career I've been in the courtroom basically every single day. I just love the intellectual challenges of the law, and I think I'd make a great circuit court judge.
And from what I hear is that you've been both on the pro-defense and pro-prosecution areas.
Well, I started my career working at the state attorney's office here in the 6th Circuit for Bernie McCabe. I prosecuted cases here in Clearwater and also up in Pasco County for about 4 years. For the last 10 years, I've run a state agency up in Pasco called the Regional Counsel's Office, and we handle many different types of things: dependency, guardianship, civil commitment hearings, criminal cases too. Anytime the Public Defender's Office has a conflict of interest on an indigent case, our office is appointed, and I supervise a staff of 10 attorneys doing that. I have been doing a lot of criminal defense work in that capacity. I'm a board certified expert in criminal trial law. I do a lot of death penalty litigation, death penalty defense work. So I've been in court on both sides of that. And
would you like to touch upon what do you like about both areas?
Sure, absolutely. And I think I said earlier this week, someone asked me which I like better, and it was kind of a cop-out, but I like both equally for different reasons. As a prosecutor, your job is to seek justice. You're just looking at a case, you're working with law enforcement, making sure that the law is enforced, that if there's a victim, that their rights are protected and that the community is protected. You're out of law school as a prosecutor, you're put right in the courtroom, you're thrown right into the fire, working on cases, trying cases. I really enjoyed that. As a defense attorney, I love putting the government to their burden, enforcing the Constitution every day, making sure people's constitutional rights are respected. So I like both of those capacities. I really kind of wish we were like how they have it over in Britain, where you can go from one case working on the state to the next case working on the defense. I kind of just enjoy the intellectual challenge of both sides, and I think it's really helped my career as a defense attorney to start off at the state attorney's office. So, but it's important that you have a perspective from both sides.
That is true, and an appreciation for both sides.
Absolutely.
And let me inquire about you personally. Can you give us a little bit of your personal background?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I moved down to Palm Harbor when I was 10 years old. I went to Eastlake High School. That's where I met my now wife, Michelle, my much better half. We were high school sweethearts. I went to University of Florida College of Law, graduated with honors there. Moved to Palm Harbor out of law school. Lived there for about 15 years. Last 3 years we moved up to Newport Richey. My wife works for the Pinellas County schools, public schools. She was a school teacher in Palm Harbor Middle School for 15 years. The last few years she's been the director of curriculum countywide for social studies K through 8. So real proud. She's much smarter than I am, but real proud of her. I am very active in our community. I am the chairman of the Board of Elders at Bethel Lutheran Church in Clearwater. We've belonged to that church for many, many years. Do a lot of work in the community through that church. I also participate. My son, Ben, he's 14. He's on his way to being an Eagle Scout, and I'm a volunteer with his Boy Scout troop, Troop 9 in Tarpon Springs. I coach youth basketball with the YMCA. I do a lot of volunteer work with the schools through my wife. You know, people might say I was voluntold to do that, but I really enjoy working chaperoning field trips, judging National History Day competitions, lecturing different classes on issues in the legal community, that sort of thing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me ask you about, this is a question that I've asked every judicial candidate thus far that's come on to be interviewed. In dealing with the interaction between a citizen, somebody that comes before the court with whatever controversy case, be it criminal, civil, we oftentimes understand that it could be a very intimidating experience for persons. Ideally, what do you think that interaction should look like?
Well, it's important that the judge conveys a calm and even temperament, is patient with the litigants, does not come off as thinking that he or she is a king or queen in their little courtroom there. You're a public servant. You're there to apply the law, to interpret the law, but it's important that the litigants, the people in the courtroom, think that they're given a fair shake. And if you go in there with an attitude or a demeanor that does not lend oneself to thinking that way, then the litigants aren't going to have respect for the decision, even if the decision was 100% right under the law. And that just negatively impacts the rule of law, the community's thoughts on the judiciary here, and that's certainly something that we don't want.
Right. Good answer. Dustin, listen, we have a couple of minutes left. I'd like you to address the voters. Again, thank you for coming on. This is an area of where races occur, and there's candidates that citizens need to select. Oftentimes I hear the feedback that I get is voters are frustrated because they're like, I don't know anything about any of them, and so they just skip that area on the ballot, which is that's not good for our country, for locally, for to make sure that the best person is elected to take office, and because they're going to have power over us and decisions that are made impact us. So I'm going to leave you with the last couple of minutes to address the voters, the viewers, as to any last words you want to leave the viewers with.
Well, thank you, Haiti, and I appreciate it. And you're right, we pay a lot of attention to what's going on up in Washington, D.C., what's going on in Tallahassee, and that stuff's important, but these local elections are what most directly impact people in their daily lives, and it's important that we have an informed electorate. I appreciate the opportunity you're giving me to address the voters. These judicial campaigns are different than any other kind of campaign. I really liken it more to a job interview than a political campaign. We want judges who have the right kind of experience, knowledge in the law, and also that right demeanor that we talked about. I think I'm the most qualified candidate in this race. I have the most extensive courtroom experience. I'm a board-certified expert in criminal trial law. Only about 7% of attorneys in Florida are board-certified by the Florida Bar. I'm the only candidate in this race who's board-certified. I've got over 40 jury trials to verdict, many of the most complex, variety. I'm a death penalty litigator. It doesn't get any more intense in the courtroom than a death penalty case. I've been endorsed by a number of folks in our legal community. One of the things I'm most proud of are the support and endorsements of attorneys that I've received from attorneys who I've gone against in court, gone against in trial. In my 40-plus jury trials I've had, there wasn't a single case where I didn't go up to the opposing counsel, shake their hand and say, good job. They say likewise. It's just the professionalism that we expect in the legal community. But I've been endorsed by many of those attorneys who I've gone against in trial. They've said that Dustin's got the right qualifications to be a judge. I've been endorsed by the state attorney, Bernie McKay, by public defender Bob Dillinger, by County Commissioner Dave Eggers, by Clerk of Court Paul O'Neill, County Commissioners up in Pasco, Ron Oakley, Jack Mariano, Catherine Starkey, the Fraternal Order of Police, the AFL-CIO, many others. You can check out my website, dustinforjudge.com. It's got all my information on there. But I would appreciate your vote on August 28th.